Welcome to Chez Jean Pierre and to my world, the world of the kitchen, the chefs. I've been writing for the Shiny Sheet for the last 12 years and the food editor for the last 5. I teach a culinary program at the Society of the Four Arts, and I'm infinitely more comfortable with my hands chopping onions and serving people and putting things together. And then when I have fellow chefs who really know what they're doing, it's a great pleasure. So we're going to have a conversation with Jean Pierre and find out how he got from Point l'Evêque in Normandy, stinky cheese, to Palm Beach. And that happened
in 87.
87,
yeah. I was long gone from Point l'Evêque.
You were born between a cheese factory and a Calvados factory, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was in good shape when I started.
And then you went to Montreal.
Yeah, when I was 19. Yeah, I did the apprenticeship in a dining room in France, in Point l'Evêque. And then at 19, you know, the place was too small, so I need to see something different. I tried to come in the US, but at this time, it was very hard to get a visa. So I said, all right, let's go to Canada, and then maybe we can cross the border.
Plan B, right.
And I stayed 13 years in Montreal, worked in a dining room in 2 restaurants, one French and one Italian. And then I came down in 87. We joined some friend who opened the Saint-Honoré in PGA. It's no longer there, but it was a great restaurant. And I worked there in a dining room for like 4 years. And in 91, I came down in this place, which was like half the size at this time. And
this is the original room, right?
Yeah.
Notice that he said he was working in the dining room. Up to this point, he hadn't been in the kitchen except to help.
Yeah, that was the idea. And after like 2.5 years, we had a young chef, and he decided to leave for another country.
A French chef.
A French chef, yeah. Like kind of a little prima donna guy. And you know, I thought about like looking for another chef, and I say, you know, I think I can do that because I feel comfortable doing, and I have like a couple of good guys in the kitchen, and that's how I start. You know, I left the dining room to Nicole at this time because David was still at school. And she was running the front, and I stepped in the kitchen, and
the rest is history.
Voilà. You know, we had a good time at the beginning because, you know, we like in the 87, around 90, it was still hard around here to get like a good bread every day because there were not too many bakeries. So I said, you know, we have to start to make our own bread. You know, so I have a little French girl. She was a pastry chef, and she was in the country, but leaving like a few days later when I asked her, I said, could you show me a little bit of bread? She said, listen, I have like 1 more day. So she came, she showed me 1 or 2 little things. She said, with that, you should be okay to do it. So we start to work it like after service with Terry in the kitchen. We were doing bread, so we did like bricks to start, you know.
Bricks.
That was the idea. And then, you know, we polish it and come up with a daily bread, which I think everyone enjoyed.
Everybody enjoys it, and your special recipe is your boule that you make with unbleached flour and flaxseed flour and oatmeal and walnuts and raisins. It's delicious. Yeah. And in the afternoon when the grandchildren are here, often he's making dough in fanciful shapes like hockey sticks. Was that a hockey stick?
Yeah, they come, you know, we are like Benjamin, David's son. Not more now, he's 7 years old, so when he come here in the afternoon, you have homework to do with grandma, so that's different. But in his first year, he was like always in the kitchen, an hour or 2 every afternoon, so we were breaking eggs to make cake. When I was doing pasta, you know, I was giving some piece of dough, and he was playing with that. And now we have my other son who is in the kitchen. His 2 kids are like younger, so now when they come in the kitchen, it's always, Papi, I want to help. So that's we have to find something to give them to keep them busy and happy.
You said about your mother that you could give your mother $10 and she could feed 10 people a meal, and that would include dessert.
Oh yeah, when we were a kid, but you know, $10 this time was going a longer way than now. But Yeah, she's a good cook. She can, you know, with a little bit of flour, a few eggs, and sugar, and some other fruit, she wrap you a cake or a tart like in a matter of no time. And we was always like close to a farm district, so you know she would have like a chicken or two, and you know she can do a feast with it. And we live near the seashore, so also with fish, and that's you know she can just open the fridge, see what you have, and up the idea is popping up, and she comes with something.
And so it was natural for you
Oh,
to cook and to be.
I always love it, you know. I like to cook, and when I was apprentice in France, you know, we work like lunch and dinner, and in the middle we have like 2 hours cuts. A lot of the employees go back home, but I was living too far from home, and the chef too. So, you know, we spent the afternoon talking, or he had some prep to do or thing he wanted to try. So I was with him all the time. So that's how, you know, I came like in touch with it and
Sous
love
chef.
it, you know, and you know, without knowing, you know, after a few months, you know how to fillet a fish, how to debone a leg of lamb, because you just look at the guy doing a few times, he give you the knife one time, and that's. You know,
Yeah,
just, you know,
it looks easy after you do it for the 50th time.
Oh yeah, you know, yeah. The first time, if no one put pressure on you, that's fine. I think that's one of the reasons I learned well here by myself, because the only one who can scream after me was myself. So, you know, that's yeah. I like you, if I do something wrong, you know, you tell me, but you know, don't start to scream because I don't like it. That's, you know, and
Well, what did the customers say from the beginning? How did you construct your menu for Palm Beach? Were you using menus that were in existence already? Did you know the favorites that people wanted to eat?
No, we have already like few dishes like we were like very popular, like the Dover sole, because at this time, you know, we were, beside maybe 1 or 2 hotels, we were the only one on the island providing Dover sole. And at Saint Honoré, we had it on the menu. That's why I was in contact with the people in Chicago who are like the dealers for this fresh Dover. And we start to work. So this dish, you know, you can't take it off of the menu because you will have a riot. But some of the dish, it's, you know, it's like things I like to eat. And, you know, Nicole and I, when we were in Montreal, the kids were little, but we went like in every restaurant opening. We let them open for a few weeks, and then we always like pop up and look at what they are doing, how they are doing, you know, what's nice, what our taste, and you know, take ideas. And I read a lot too. And you can ask Nicole, you know, years now a little less, but for so many years we were going like in a shopping center. If there was a bookstore, she know where I was, you know. I was over there like going and looking for ideas, or I have a question, trying to find the answer, how to do that, why it works like this, why it doesn't work when you do that.
Yeah, but you're far ahead of the game. You have to watch him cook, and you'll see all the le petit trucs, the little things that he does that are not in the recipes and not in the books. They're in his head and in his creativity. When did you put short ribs on the menu?
Oh, a few years ago, like, I would say like a good 10 years ago. That's at this time, you know, the short rib was like making like a return on many menus of one place in the country. And we try few different type, and we find one type with one big meat company. They have like this always great short rib, like we can consider like prime. When you look at it, you have all those layers of fat which like melt when you cook them. And with Terry, we work with us in the kitchen since the opening. Now he's like kind of like knife crazy. It's always like, you know, very meticulous, and that's playing with that. You know, we saw like I think in one magazine we saw something wrap around the bone, and that's where, you know, you say it's short rib around the bone will look nice, and you know, we tried to figure out how to have it, cook it, and have it holding to the bone.
They take the entire rib, slice the meat off, and take the bones and slice the meat into strips. Correct me if I'm. And then they wrap the strips of meat around the bone and secure them. And then they make a fabulous Bourguignon sauce with real Bourguignon, and he does something quite brilliant. He takes the bottle of wine before he puts it in the sauce and he reduces it. So you have a very, very concentrated flavor in the sauce. And it's been a big seller ever since, no?
It's a great seller. Yeah.
He bakes it in a big cruise, and he closes very slowly for a long time. And then he lets it rest for a day before it's actually served.
The rest in the sauce like that. The meat, you know, if you take out the meat from a hot broth and put it out, you know, you see the vapor coming out, and it's like most of the moisture is leaving. And then to hydrate it is not so easy. But if you let it cool in this broth, you know, the meat is like not stressed and full of juice. So when you rewarm it, it's still
impeccable.
Impeccable.
Impeccable. What are the local things? I noticed that you have a lot of local fish on the menu.
You know, we mostly, like I never work with tuna. You know, that's my share of leaving the tuna alive in the ocean. But we like to work with...
They're endangered in the Mediterranean, so you're contributing to their future.
We work like mostly snappers, sometimes grouper, like the grouper season starts, so you know, once in a while I put grouper on the menu. And like today we just received some little clam which are like farm raised on the west coast of Florida, the Venus clam, which are beautiful. And you know, whatever we can put, but there is also some seasonal thing, like when Nantucket start to produce the bay scallop. You know, I have one scallop fisher who send us, you know, twice a week some fresh scallops. And like soft shell crab, when the season starts, usually we run it for 2-3 weeks. And then after we stop, because it's such a, it's a product who stay like 2 days life, and that's after, you know, they passed away, and it's not the same. They release most of their moisture, so we don't want to work with that.
What's the most popular selling entree of all time?
After the Dover sole?
After the Dover sole,
yeah. Dover sole, it's like a quarter of the sale, more or less.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. It used to be like 33% of the sale. But over the years, you know, so many other places now are offering it, so I guess people, you know, have more opportunity, and then they look at the menu. But we also have, like, I think a big part of our regular crowd, they open the menu maybe in 91 and 92 and didn't open it. You know? They come, they sit down, and they don't have to bother what do you have tonight, because before they arrive, they know what they're going to get. But, you know, you also have this group of people who, like, you know, at least like one item once in a while, something different they want to try.
How did you discover how to scramble eggs in the shell? I watched you do it, so I know you have a lot of secrets. Where did you find the zapper? If you have the scrambled eggs with the caviar in the shell, he's got a little zapper, and he goes on the raw egg, and it takes off a perfect round of the shell, leaving the raw egg intact, and then he works his magic.
Oh, it's just no magic. It's like scrambling. You know, just mix in with a bit of cream, some chives, and take a pan, but cold pan, like room temperature, put on your burner, a little spoon of butter, put the heat on, and whisk your eggs and pour right away, and start like cold. Because if you start with a hot pan, you will seize the eggs right away, and you will have more like a kind of broken omelet. And when you see it, you know, when it's become to be like a creamy and there's the right texture.
Like it, yeah.
You pour back in a cold container, whisk it, fill your eggs, top with caviar. And
that's also been a very popular seller.
yeah, it's a nice thing, yeah. It's also nice for breakfast on Sunday.
Yeah, it's perfect. The wine list, 300 selections. I know that almost every afternoon during the week, the wine salesmen appear, and you are methodically.
Not me, no more.
No more. You've retired.
That's David.
Okay.
David, you know, when David joined the restaurant full time, he showed an interest for wine, and same thing. You know, he do a lot of research, reading, and question and tasting, and he became very good at it. So I said, all right, now you deal with the wines. So you know, if you had like some product, you know, you want to put in, like maybe like kind of high-end, expensive something, he would ask Nico and I, you know, can we put that? You know,
but you have to taste it first, no?
He tasted. I trust him.
The royal taster.
Yeah, okay. He tasted. I trust him.
Another thing that's very innovative on the wine list here are the selection of half bottles, because a lot of people enjoy a half bottle, and they have everything from a $15 Zinfandel from California, delicious, up to a lovely half bottle of Chateau Chem in case you are celebrating and you would like to have something a bit special. So I think we have to let Jean Pierre go back in the kitchen. I bet you're hungry, and I hope you enjoy the meal and enjoy the afternoon.